Hello everybody, today I'm going to be showcasing my modified Nerf stormcharge. So what I've done with it is, starting at the front, I have kept the stock cage, although I have trimmed it a little bit to accommodate the motors. I'm using Kraken 130s with high crush flywheels. I'm using 18 gauge wiring. I have an armor-on switch. I've ground out the mag well a little bit so that it can accept the 18 rounds with the bump out. I'm running a 9.6 volt battery in the stock. For the stock, I'm running this 3D printed buffer tube with an M4 stock from an airsoft gun. For more about this buffer tube, you can check it out on my Thingiverse page. Link in the description. I have painted it mostly silver with some red and gold accents. I have sanded down the mag release a little bit so that it doesn't hurt your finger as much to hit it with your middle finger. I don't actually have anything in the battery tray, although I did clip it out so that I could put something in there. If I ever decide to switch to 3DS, that's what I'll do. I've given it some weathering. It's shooting consistently in the 120 to 130 range. Although it will drop a little bit as the battery drains. It can shoot about 70 feet. And I run it in several different configurations. First off is the standard configuration, which is this. Then I run it in the CQB configuration. This is the CQB formation, which is the one I most commonly use. I have the Nerf Chrono barrel, which I'm going to paint to match this, to match the color scheme. Then I'm going to trim the barrel down a little bit. I'm also going to 3D print like a mock EOTech to go up here on the rail. That is the CQB formation. I also run it in the DMR configuration. This is the DMR configuration, which reminds me most of the Nerf AccuStrike Stratahawk variant of the Rapid Strike. It has the painted Nerf Eagle Point scope and barrel with a scar barrel inside of the Eagle Point barrel to slow it down for like standard HVZ parameters and to make it slightly more accurate. This is mainly what I use when I'm displaying the blaster. I don't really ever use this in Nerf Wars. That is pretty much it for the variations. I will also sometimes use the Buzzbee 10 round black mag from the Mutator, I believe, for decorational purposes. Now for a firing demo. I'm going to start by shooting a full 18 round magazine of AF Waffles at about 15 feet in the DMR configuration. My final comments about this build are, I decided not to make it full auto, because I wanted to keep it semi, because it would have kind of an absurd rate of fire if I did make it full auto, and I want to be a bit more conservative with my ammunition. I also decided not to add motor braking, so as not to wear out the battery, because I don't really mind having a slower spin down time, as long as I have a pretty fast spin up time. I also considered trying to find some ways to dampen the sound, but I feel like having it kind of loud is intimidating for the enemy. Also, since the armor-on switch is about twice as big as the old switch, if not bigger, I did have to remove the switch lock in order to fit it, meaning that you can pull the trigger without revving the blaster, which is not really a problem as long as you're careful. And seeing as it's still semi-auto, it's not like you're going to jam like 5 darts into your barrel before you even notice. And even if you do get 1 or 2 in, it's not that big of a deal. Revving the flywheels will just kind of drop it out. especially because I don't keep my finger on the trigger when I'm not firing, because proper firearm safety. If you're curious about how I did it, and if you'd like to build your own, I will put some pictures up so that you can look and see how it's wired. Warning, I did have to do some internal shell cutting in order to fit the crackings in the flywheels, as well as some of the wiring, because 18 gauge is quite a bit thicker than the 22 gauge that was in here. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.